Welcome to the Celtic Pod, CLNS. We got Goodman, we got Ryan, we got Tanguay here. So Jayson Tatum goes off for 51, total line 10 rebounds, 7 assists against Washington. You know, I saw it and I went, okay, fine. Where the hell you been? You know, I know that the Green Teamers, Bob, will be all about this, but he always does this against Washington. And I'm like, so what? So what?
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I was thinking about it this morning, and you know, you just can't poo-poo. And not everybody can do this. You know, I mean, this shows you what he's capable of in that category and that aspect of his game. You know, with scoring and the idea that he's done it as he enters the game over his last 20 it's like you can't make this stuff up department. You know, come on, you tell me the guy's. So he's going to break out by going 9 for 14 on threes and score 51 points after he's 0 for 20. You know, come on, don't be. He just did that. He's very talented. God knows, I'm not even the president of the fan club. The president of the fan club is our friend here, Mr. Goodman. And
yeah,
so
I will not accept the Jayson Tatum slander on this pod, Gary. I will not accept.
No,
it's frustrating, Jeff. God,
of course it's frustrating, but.
You might as well
give him
the Generals.
Give him somebody who can make his life easier. I actually had a little bit of a Twitter argument. Eddie Johnson, you remember Eddie Johnson, Bob? Right?
Yes, there were two Eddie Johnsons. You're talking about the guard.
The former Phoenix Sun.
Yeah.
That
Eddie Johnson. Fast Eddie Johnson was Atlanta.
Yeah, the Illinois Eddie Johnson, I call him. Yes. Yeah. And he was a very good shooter. And he's okay. Yes, Eddie, I know. And I've done.
But he's doing the Suns games. He does serious, and he's doing. He came out. He came at me a little bit about Tatum, and well, he's inconsistent, and you know, because I said I would never trade Jayson Tatum. Period. And Jayson Tatum's mother actually came back at me and said, like, who's trading Jayson Tatum? I said, well, who would want to trade him or something like that? I said, well, there are some idiots out there, and Tanguay might be one of them. But to me, listen, there are not 5 better players in their prime right now, more talented players than Jayson Tatum. He can score. He now can rebound at a high level, right? Like he couldn't do that a few years ago, but now he's big and strong, and he goes in there and he'll fight for some boards. He can get it out the glass and take it up, and he's averaging about 4 assists. And, oh, by the way, he doesn't have anybody in his team that can get him the ball in a position to make his life easier. That's my biggest issue, is this team is poorly constructed around a superstar. And I know, yes, he's not Michael Jordan. He's not LeBron. He's not those guys. I'm not saying to put him in that equation, but he's as good as just about any player in their prime right now in terms of if you give him enough around him. And you said it. You just said it a moment ago on our podcast, Gary, was there's very few guys who can do it alone right now. Michael Jordan did it alone. LeBron couldn't do it alone in Cleveland. You need somebody with you. And to me, again, I'll go back to it. I know it's like banging my head against the wall. Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown don't fit well together. They don't play off one another. They don't make each other better consistently. So either you need to add a third piece or, to me, make a move. And it doesn't involve Jayson Tatum.
What do you make of the business that Smart gave him the big pep talk before the game? And, you know, well, I mean, really, in terms of.
He needed it. He needed it 0 for 20 from 3. Like, you could tell it was in his head. And well, sometimes that, I think, is Jason's biggest issue is the mental approach to the game, that he does think a little bit too much.
Well, but I just found that interesting that Smart said that don't worry about it. You're 0 for 20, you know, keep shooting kind of thing. And remind him, which, you know, shooters, that's traditionally the way shooters are, you know, will tell you that they think, you know, but I mean,
still love him. I still love him. I think he's as talented as just about any player in the league.
I get frustrated because the Celtics think they're a 3-point shooting team and they're not. That's what drives me crazy.
Well, he can be, though. Listen, Jayson Tatum shooting poorly this year, 32, 33%. I think you're talking about a guy that if you gave him easier looks, right? If you gave him shots where he could get his feet set, and every shot, every shot for him is either contested or he's got two dudes on him everywhere he dribbles right now.
Yeah,
So
but that's part of the deal, though, Jeff, isn't it?
Sure. Listen, if you're that good, you're going to be able to make some shots contested and with two dudes on you. But that's not ideally what you want, right? Like at some point, if you have either enough around him or a point guard who can still find him in spots to make his life easier, I just don't feel like he gets enough of those. Like the great scorers still, they have somebody around him, and Jaylen Brown doesn't do it even, like to Tatum. Nobody does it. Nobody really gives him easy buckets. Part of that is Tatum. Part of that is him moving without the ball, that he's got to find ways. But I think part of it is, again, if you don't have natural point guards in your roster, which they don't, everything is really hard to manufacture. And that's the Celtics' biggest problem. At the end of the game, yeah, okay, you could have Tatum jack up a poor shot, or you want Grant Williams shooting it. Now he's uncontested. You can have Grant shooting it. If Grant misses an uncontested three, what's everybody going to say?
That game was kind of a microcosm of the season. You know what I've been saying since the beginning of the week, the season. It's an annoying team, and the reason is that you see them do things, and you want to see them do more often, or react to certain situations better than they do when you think they really could. You know, that's within their capability, and it's all I'm asking for a decent month. Give me a month once. Give me a month. That's all. And not that's all, but show me something from this is just a nice little game here and there. They'll play like this, and that's it. And
against Washington,
I fully expect a bad week now. There's no reason to think that they won't be a bad week, and it should not be that way.
Guys, always a pleasure. We'll be watching I assume the trade rumors are going to start percolating a little bit.
Well, what's the date? 23rd? When is it?
Yeah. So, we'll start to hear a lot of Marcus Smart, a lot of this, a lot of that. And we'll be chopping that up in the weeks coming up. Jeff Goodman, Bob Ryan, the commish. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you later.